Hi, I'm Cash with CashedOutCars, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining what liftoff oversteer is, how to prevent it, and how to sometimes use it in your favor. Let's get to it. The first thing to understand when talking about liftoff oversteer is understanding what oversteer itself is. Now, oversteer itself is when the rear tires of a car lose traction before the fronts. And this causes the back end of the car to slide out because the front tires still have grip and the rears don't. So you end up sliding, and you're probably thinking of drifting right now. And drifting is a form of a controlled oversteer. Now, liftoff oversteer occurs when you're going through a turn pretty close to the limit, and you lift off throttle, which causes the back end to lose traction and come out and end up sliding. In the video you just saw of me and my Miata, I'm going into a turn, I come out of a right-hand turn, and I go into a left-hand turn pretty close to the limit, not necessarily on the limit, but I lift off the throttle pretty abruptly, which causes the rear of the car to lose traction and sends me into a spin. Now, this is a great example of liftoff oversteer. This was one of my first times on the track, and I wasn't expecting it, so I think this video should help people out that are in a situation like that, or that are trying to understand what liftoff oversteer is and what causes it. The first reason that lifting off the throttle while turning makes you spin is that when you lift off the throttle, you're transferring weight from a fairly even distribution over all four tires to more weight on the front tire. And weight over the tire is pretty proportional to grip, and for the purposes of this video, you could think of it as proportional to grip. So as you lift, more weight transfers to the front of the car, meaning your front tires will have more grip to turn, and your rears will actually lose traction. And that's what you see here. That's when I start to turn. And that's really the main concept behind liftoff oversteer. You lift, transfer more weight to the front tires, and lose weight off of the rear tires, which ends up having the rear lose traction. Another reason that liftoff oversteer occurs, specifically in a rear-wheel drive car, is engine braking. So when you're going through a turn and abruptly lift off, the engine tries to slow down the rear tires. And when it's trying to slow down the rear tires close to the cornering limit of those tires, you're gonna exceed the performance of the tires because you're trying to brake and corner at the limit at the same time. So for this reason, you're gonna exceed the traction limit of the tires and also start to slide. Now, it's important to note that lifting off mid-corner will always send you into a big slide, and that liftoff oversteer occurs a lot more at the limit. Now, it occurs more at the limit because, like I was saying earlier, when you're cornering at the limit, pretty much all of your tire's grip is being used for the cornering alone. And when you lift and upset the balance, all the tires aren't going to be gripping at the same amount that they were previously, and it'll cause a slide. Also, when you lift off at the limit and cause that little bit of braking, that's what's going to send you into the slide. If you do this not at the limit, you're not necessarily going to slide because there's still some performance left in the tires to slow down the rear tires or to account for the quick adjustment in weight balance. Additionally, it's important to keep in mind that the oversteer will be pretty much proportional to the severity of the lift. So if you quickly take your foot off the throttle mid-turn, you're pretty likely to go into a pretty fast and pretty uncontrollable skid like you saw in my Miata video. Now, if you gently come off the throttle, you could actually come out with a pretty nice predictable oversteer that you could save and actually use in your favor. If you're driving on a track and you're coming out of a turn on throttle, and you're on throttle so much that you're going to end up going off the track, liftoff oversteer is actually what's going to keep you on the track. So you want to ease off the throttle, which will allow the car to turn as normal because it's going to oversteer a little bit, and the rear tires are going to come out just a little bit and end up actually keeping you on the track and on the racing line. Now, this could be said for corner entry too. In this video that you just saw of me in the go-kart, I go into a turn, and I turn into the corner and lift off the throttle so the back end comes out just a little bit and gets a little bit light, but what it actually is doing is preventing me from understeering and going through the corner too wide and not making it out to stay on the track. So Basically what I'm saying is liftoff oversteer could be your friend when you know how to use it, but you have to be careful not to abruptly lift off the throttle when you don't want to, because that will send you into a spin like the Miata video. So I hope this was a helpful video with explaining what liftoff oversteer is, how to avoid it, and how to sometimes use it in your favor. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big ol' thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more. As always, thank you for watching.